What is up? It is Andy coming to you on a Monday. I actually just got back in time to make this video. Yeah, I went to Switzerland over the weekend. I thought I would go visit the place that was responsible for all that cheese that I was dealt in the middle of October. I was explaining to people there, like, well, what are you guys doing over here? You know how much time I had to spend in the last part of October to turn a profit for the month? What's wrong with you people? And then while I was over there arguing with them, you want to know what happened? More Swiss cheese occurred on Saturday, Sunday. Ton of Swiss to start November. So now, it's just like kind of credit card debts, You finally pay off all your credit card debts. What do? You start a nice new one. And that's what I did on Saturday and Sunday. Ton of Swiss yesterday. You look up and down those lines. Oh, Larkin, Raymond. Oh, no Finney. Oh, Kurashev, Skinner. No Wenberg. A lot of Swiss up and down the board. But on Sunday, going into Monday, you actually have very little information. Go to Daily Faceoff if it's early and you're watching this and see what the lines are and see what the situations and what's it going to say up top? The dreaded last game. Anytime you go to Daily Faceoff, by the way, and Daily Faceoff, this is not me like ripping on you. This is just the truth. And the source up top says we're just showing you the lines from last game. I would not take that as gospel because many times by the end of that game, they've tinkered with something else. That thing worked, and then those lines are carried into the next game. So on a Monday, like when I make this video, I see some of these teams, like we don't know William Nylander's status. What lines are the Toronto Maple Leafs going to go with? They started with one set of lines, ended with a different set of lines. So this slate in particular, not easy to discern what's going to be what, but I think I have some good reasons. I think typically, you can read between the lines or sniff between the lines. Usually, if a team goes out there, wins, especially if it's a convincing victory, they're going to roll the same team out there. And I do think in this particular case, on this particular slate, I have sniffed between the lines and do have some solid values to give out to you. But I know it doesn't matter what happens in life. You want me to turn back the clock and just say, what would you give at the front counter of that pizzeria? Well, things that I would like to bring to your attention, no matter what you see from the Pittsburgh Penguins, you may think, oh, this is the number one team in the league. So why are they going into Toronto and Toronto's minus 190 favorites? Because they're like me. They don't care. They don't care. What did they do? Okay. I don't care if it was January 12th and they were still in first place. I'm listing Toronto as a minus 190 because, Michael Keaton leaned in and said to the Joker in '89 Batman, the one that actually, the guy's an actual Joker. I know you're going to say the Heath Ledger version is the best squad. They're not Jokers. They do not incorporate enough joking in the Joker. But Jack Nicholson, he shook somebody's hand and killed them with a buzzer.
Oh, I got a live one here.
That's joking. And as far as the Penguins go, I know who you are. And that is why I took them to go under 2.5 goals over the weekend against the Winnipeg Jets. And while I really am thinking about something like that in this game, under 2.5 goals for the Pittsburgh Penguins, what I think I would rather go with is a classic under 6.5 here. Just because we don't know William Nylander's status, and you saw Brazo not play that last game. You would think nothing of it, but look at these Pittsburgh Penguins lines. There's already no Ricard Raquel. So now that second line, which has been coming through so much, I'm sure you guys know that, that full line combo. You remove all these ingredients from the game, show me a total of 6.5. Remember, I believe the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have a dismal power play and aren't just piling up goals like they had in previous years. I think they're fine in the long run. I think it will work well in the playoffs, but I think you're also less likely to see these really high-scoring games. So I think I'm going to go with an under 6.5 here. And I think the Leafs will win this game. I'll go with an old school Leafs and under 7.5 at plus 110. All right, well, now that you've quenched your pizzeria thirst, waltz into my world where we find some solid values and then try to extract every last dollar out of those values because you can build some solid parlays. Your favorite word. That's your favorite word, right? The P word?
Parlay.
We can build some values based on some of these point props. And we're going to start in Nashville. While I don't think this is going to be the highest scoring game, many of these games look crusty. Every single one of these games could go under, but a game could still go under, and your point props and your parlays can still hit. Remember, you have 5 or 6 goals to play with. You can still nail some of the point prop combos. So while I do say like, oh yeah, I do think a game will go under, doesn't mean that we can't hit these props that I'm about to tell you. So on the Nashville side, they're not a good team whatsoever, but regardless, you show me a good value and I'll show you a good time. And that's exactly what we are seeing right here with Luke Evangelista. I know this is a name that's been tossed around recently, kind of been elevated. He's on the top line with Forsberg and O'Reilly, which is good in and of itself. Like, that is great to know in and of itself. This is not a great offensive team, but those are the two leading scorers. So he's playing on the top line with those two leading scorers. The problem always was the top power play had Stamkos and Marchessault on it. So you were always needing that 5-on-5 goal to truly hit that solid point prop value. But now that the whole line, including Evangelista, is on the top power play with like Haula and Brady Shea, you gotta love that opportunity. Sure, it might not hit, but looking at that price, that's something that I'm going to happily take because it is so easy to concoct some solid parlays off of that. You can easily take his two line mates, the two better players, Forsberg and O'Reilly, for a point, and use him as the high price assist that stirs the high price parlay. So you can take Forsberg, O'Reilly, and an Evangelista assist to cook up a same game parlay north of plus 500. You can nail that in one goal on the power play or at even strength. Or you can do one of the other things that I suggest where you take him for the point and the power play point defenseman for the assist. You can take his point with the Brady Shea assist. And I understand this team doesn't score a lot of goals, but they scored, 3 or 4 in the last game? They beat Calgary. A team at home can score a few goals. And I think if you're playing with the two most likely guys to score and you're thrown on that top power play, I think that's a risk worth taking. So I will go with the Luke Evangelista point and the affiliated same game parlays. And then on the other side, you have a former Nashville Predator who's played really well coming off, not in the last game, but I think he had 2 goals in the game before that, K.Sherwood, or did he have a hat trick in that game? He's obviously feeling it right now, and I think he's been rewarded with a slot on that top power play. So you have a slight elevation in the lineup to the top power play, and he's going up against his old team in their building. I kind of like that point for K.Sherwood. And just like I orchestrated that same game parlay with Evangelista and Shea, you can do the same exact thing. But there is no Quinn Hughes right now. The top defenseman already is Philip Hronek, who is a good point prop price in and of itself. So now you can just think you're taking a good price, not great price, in Sherwood with the assist of the fill-in defenseman who's on that top power play. And now that's how you're spitting out north of plus 300. For 2 guys on the top power play, these are just good values. The only unfortunate part is this smells like a crusty game, but the beautiful thing about the NHL, sometimes games, they smell crusty, and when it's like 2 negatives gives you a positive. Sometimes double crust hits the spot, and hopefully some of the props in this game will. Remember, if we are correct about one side of this, and I know you're going to parlay all of it together, I don't know, there's nothing I can do. That's how you live your life. You want the adrenaline rush of all of it hitting, fine. But I'm looking to hit one side of it. If one side of what I just said is correct, that's massive profits. And if you don't like any of that, you can flush that whole game down the toilet and go to the other game that stands out to me, the late game between the Cockroach Kraken and the Blackhawks. Now, like I said, every single game on this slate can be a dud, including the St. Louis Blues and the Edmonton Oilers. And I think there's a potential upset alert in that game. Robert Thomas might be coming back. And I know also what you're thinking. We keep hitting the both teams to score 2+. Shout out to the person who asked for that because of you, I'm sniffing 2 goals in all these games. I see these 4 games. I don't see a single game where that qualifies. So if you disagree with me, fine, but these are not, in my opinion, the right games to throw that out there. But I'm going to look at that late game between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Seattle Kraken. On the Blackhawks side, I don't know why they haven't moved this to like a minus 120, but A. Burakovsky, who's been playing with Bedard pretty much all year, but the big difference came last week where they threw him on that top power play, and what do you know? He's continuing to produce. He's got a point, I believe, in every single game since joining that top power play, and not in easy spots, on the road, at Winnipeg. These are difficult places to score points. And Chicago's a little bit better this year. They're able to score a little bit more. So playing with Bedard, getting top power play time, A. Burakovsky, his plus 110. Bedard's a minus 190. Burakovsky's a plus 110. Yes, Bedard is a sniper and can score more, but I don't know who's getting him the puck. I will take Andre Burakovsky for a point at plus 110. I'm not even going to give you the line combo there because adding Bedard doesn't even give you much more value than what you already have with that plus 110. But the other side is what I'm interested in, because on certain nights, I don't know why they decide to do it. The guy who decides what players are allowed to be in the player pool versus not, it's really something to be studied. I know somebody, no, it's the algorithm and it pushes certain players. Well, how does this damn thing decide when Eli Tolvanen is available for a point prop? It was about 7 games in total last year, and here we go. We got an Eli Tolvanen. What did he do to deserve it? No points in the last game. What the hell makes players like Eli Tolvanen's point prop available? There's the cockroach Kraken tiers. They always give you Beniers, Eberle, McCann when he's playing, Stephenson, Montour, and Vince Dunn. But then they give you that second tier every once in a while. You want a little Shane Wright? You want a little Mason Marchment? Yeah, we'll give you some of those. But then when you start seeing those Eli Tolvanen and last year Andre Burakovsky, is like, wait. Why is this there? And then it just disappears forever. But the reason it's so important, Eli Tolvanen's playing on the top power play, so it's so annoying that they never listed him. And he's playing with Chandler Stephenson on the... We can call it the second line. I told you every single one of their lines is the same to me. It's just the same 3 guys on every single line. But he's playing with Tolvanen and Jaden Schwartz on that second, first, third line. This is a game where I believe you throw all 3. Well, look, on my line combo docs, we are throwing all 3 line combos out there. I'm just asking, if they give us Meatloaf in this game, 2 out of 3, it's better than ain't bad. It's like borderline Tony the Tiger great. And that is what I have for you on a Monday. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. Make sure you're subscribed here to the YouTube channel. If you are enjoying these videos, there will be more videos like it, like tomorrow, like Thursday. We'll see about Wednesday. I got a tape of Dave and a Dan. But if you want everything over here, just make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the notifications, hype any video that you enjoy and you think more people should see, because when you hype that video, more people see it. How do you like that? That's actually how it works. I'll be back with you tomorrow for, big slate, full round of NHL Sniffs. I am looking forward to it. I will talk to you then.